You wake before the sun. The room is cold. There is no sound except your breath and the faint creak of wood settling in the silence. This is the moment most men avoid. This is the moment you must learn to enter willingly. Discipline is not a burst of energy. It is not the fire that lights you for a week and dies by the end of the month. Discipline is the decision made in the dark, repeated until the dark itself becomes familiar. It is the rejection of warmth when warmth offers nothing but delay. It is the choice to sharpen the blade again, even when the blade is already sharp. Most men do not fail because they lack strength. They fail because they cannot tolerate the absence of comfort. They mistake motion for progress. They mistake noise for insight. They fill their days with distractions and call it ambition. They avoid the one thing that would make them dangerous: stillness. Stillness is not rest. Stillness is confrontation. When you sit alone, with no screen, no voice, no task to hide behind, you meet yourself as you are, not as you pretend to be, not as you wish to become, as you are. Most men cannot last 5 minutes in that room. Miyamoto Musashi walked alone for most of his life. He did not seek companions. He did not build a school until his final years. He spent decades wandering, testing himself against other swordsmen, sleeping in temples and caves, refining his understanding in isolation. He did not do this because he hated people. He did this because mastery requires a kind of solitude that most men will never accept. Solitude strips away the performance. It removes the audience. When no one is watching, you discover whether your discipline is real or theatrical. When no one is applauding, you learn whether you can continue. Most cannot. Most need the crowd. Most need validation at every step. Musashi needed none of it. He walked his path because the path itself demanded it. You are not Musashi. You do not carry 2 swords. You will never fight 60 duels. But the principle remains. The war is internal. The battlefield is the space between what you want to do and what you must do. Every day, you stand at that divide. Every day, you choose. Most choose comfort. They choose the extra hour of sleep. They choose the easy conversation. They choose distraction over depth. They choose reaction over restraint. And every time they choose comfort, the gap widens. The self they imagine and the self they inhabit drift further apart. The lie becomes permanent. Discipline is the refusal to lie. It is the decision to close that gap, one repetition at a time. It is not dramatic. It is not visible. No one will congratulate you for waking early. No one will applaud you for saying no to what weakens you. The work is silent. The result is everything. There is a story told about Musashi in his later years. A young swordsman came to him, eager to learn the secret techniques, the hidden strikes that made him undefeated. Musashi took him to a quiet room. He told him to sit. He told him to breathe. He told him to watch the wall. The student waited for the lesson. The lesson was the waiting. Mastery is not a collection of techniques. Mastery is the removal of everything unnecessary. It is clarity achieved through relentless elimination. Most men accumulate. They add more strategies, more habits, more tools. They believe complexity equals depth. Musashi understood the opposite. He reduced everything to essence. 2 swords, 1 strike, total commitment. You do not need more information. You need less confusion. You do not need more motivation. You need more repetition. The mind that seeks constant novelty is the mind that never builds foundation. The mind that returns to the same practice day after day, without excitement, without reward, is the mind that eventually transcends the need for either. This is where most men break. They can endure hardship if it comes with recognition. They can push through difficulty if the payoff is visible. But the true test is the work that offers nothing, the work that changes you invisibly, the work that no one sees and no one praises. That is where discipline is forged. Musashi did not write his final work to inspire the masses. He wrote it alone, in a cave, at the end of his life, knowing he would die shortly after. He did not write for fame. He did not write for students. He wrote because the work itself demanded completion. That is the mark of a master. The work is not contingent on outcome. The work is the outcome. You live in an age of constant stimulation. Every platform, every device, every voice is engineered to fracture your attention. You are told to optimize, to scale, to grow. You are told that rest is laziness and silence is wasted time. You are told that if you are not producing, you are not valuable. This is poison. This is the noise that keeps you weak. The man who cannot sit in silence is the man who cannot think clearly. The man who cannot tolerate boredom is the man who will never discover what lies beneath the surface. The man who needs constant input is the man who will never generate original output. Musashi spent years walking mountains, crossing rivers, sleeping under stars, with no teacher, no plan, no external structure. He trained alone. He refined alone. He waited for opponents, and when they came, he struck without hesitation. This was not recklessness. This was clarity. The man who knows himself does not hesitate. The man who doubts hesitates always. You hesitate because you do not know what you want. You hesitate because you have not committed. You hesitate because you are afraid of being wrong. Musashi did not fear being wrong. He feared being unclear. He feared distraction. He feared softness. And so he removed them. Discipline is removal. It is the cutting away of everything that weakens your position. It is not addition. You do not need more routines. You need fewer excuses. You do not need more plans. You need more execution. The gap between knowing and doing is where most men die. They know they should wake early. They do not wake early. They know they should train their body. They do not train. They know they should guard their attention. They give it away freely. They know they are lying to themselves. They continue lying, and then they wonder why nothing changes. Nothing changes because you do not change. You modify the surface. You adjust the schedule. You buy the new book, but you do not confront the core. You do not sit in the discomfort long enough to let it reshape you. You retreat at the first sign of difficulty and call it balance. Balance is not the goal. Clarity is the goal. Balance is what weak men say when they want permission to quit. A swordsman does not seek balance mid-strike. He commits fully or he dies. You are not in a duel to the death, but the principle is identical. Half-committed action produces half-lived results. Musashi understood this absolutely. He did not fight for sport. He did not fight for honor. He fought because the fight revealed truth. When two men face each other with real stakes, all pretense dissolves. There is no room for performance. There is only action and consequence. Most men live their entire lives in the pretense. They never face a moment that demands total honesty. You must create that moment yourself. You must build the conditions where lying to yourself becomes impossible. This is why discipline is essential. Discipline is the structure that forces truth. When you commit to waking at a certain hour, every day, regardless of how you feel, you eliminate negotiation. You eliminate the voice that says maybe tomorrow. That voice is the enemy. The enemy is not external. The enemy is the part of you that wants comfort more than it wants result. The enemy is the part of you that seeks approval more than it seeks mastery. The enemy is the part of you that would rather be liked than be right. That part of you must be starved. Musashi did not seek to be liked. He sought to be unmatched. He did not care if people understood his methods. He cared only that his methods worked. This is the separation between the master and the crowd. The crowd needs affirmation. The master needs only accuracy. You will not be affirmed. You will be misunderstood. You will be called obsessive, cold, unreasonable. People will tell you to relax. They will tell you that life is short and you should enjoy it. They will offer you every justification for mediocrity. And if you listen, you will become them. Do not listen. Walk alone if you must. Musashi did. He walked for decades with no companion, no safety, no certainty. He had only his discipline and his clarity. And in the end, that was enough. He died undefeated. He died having completed his work. He died having lived exactly as he intended. You will not live as Musashi lived, but you can live by the same principle. You can refuse distraction. You can refuse softness. You can refuse the lie that comfort equals happiness. Comfort does not equal happiness. Comfort equals stagnation. Happiness comes from alignment. When your actions match your intent, you experience peace. When they do not, you experience anxiety. Most men live in permanent anxiety because they never align. They say they value health, but eat poison. They say they value growth, but avoid challenge. They say they value focus, but drown in distraction. The words mean nothing. The action is everything. Musashi's action was total. He did not speak of discipline. He embodied it. He did not theorize about combat. He fought. He did not write philosophy for entertainment. He recorded what he learned through direct experience. His work was not abstract. It was forged in repetition, in solitude, in the silence between duels. You must forge your own work. You must enter your own silence. You must face the version of yourself that exists when no one is watching. That version is the truth. Everything else is performance. The performance will fade. The audience will leave. The applause will stop. And when it does, you will be left with what you built in private. If you built nothing, you will have nothing. If you built foundation, you will stand. Musashi spent his final years in a cave, writing, meditating, painting. He had nothing to prove. He had no students to impress. He had no need for recognition. He had only the work and the silence. And in that silence, he completed himself. You will not complete yourself in the noise. You will not complete yourself in the crowd. You will not complete yourself by accumulating more tools, more techniques, more strategies. You will complete yourself by removing everything that is not essential. You will complete yourself by committing to the same practice every day, without deviation, until the practice becomes you. This is not inspiration. This is instruction. You do not need to feel ready. You need to begin. You do not need to feel motivated. You need to move. The feeling follows the action. It never precedes it. Musashi did not wait to feel ready. He walked into duels knowing he might die. He walked alone into unknown terrain knowing he had no backup. He did not wait for certainty. He created certainty through commitment. You must do the same. Every morning, you have a choice. You can delay, negotiate, justify, or you can act. The man who acts consistently, without drama, without need for external reward, becomes unstoppable, not because he is stronger, not because he is smarter, but because he does not stop. Most men stop. They stop when it gets hard. They stop when no one is watching. They stop when the result is not immediate. They stop because they were never truly committed. They were only interested. Interest fades. Commitment endures. Musashi was committed. He did not waver. He did not retreat. He refined his method until there was nothing left to refine. And then he refined it further. This is the path. It is not comfortable. It is not popular. It is not easy. But it is the only path that leads to mastery. You are standing at the beginning of that path. The door is open. The room is cold. The silence is waiting. You can enter, or you can turn away. Most turn away. Most choose warmth. Most choose distraction. Most die without ever knowing what they were capable of. Do not be most. Enter the room. Sit in the silence. Face what you have been avoiding. And when you have faced it, act. Not tomorrow. Not next week. Now. The war is not coming. The war is here. And the only weapon you need is the one you sharpen every single day. Your will. Musashi sharpened his will until it could cut through steel. You will sharpen yours until it can cut through everything that keeps you weak. And when it is sharp enough, you will not need to prove it. You will simply walk forward, and everything will part before you. The path is clear. The work is yours. Begin.